Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
How you doing? Welcome to My Marriage is Dope podcast. I'm glad to have you as a guest.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to join you.
I'm glad to be here.
Man, thank you guys. Hey, it's been a long time since we left you.
What?
Without a dope beat to step to. It's been a couple of weeks, man, but we had some technical difficulties and different things. We're trying to figure it out so we can bring y'all quality stuff.
Yep.
Not just marriage enrichment and marriage advice and relationship situations, but we want to present well too, right?
Absolutely.
Babe? And you're presenting quite well.
Thank you.
Right now. You really
I think you're cute. I think you're cute with the hat to the back.
I'm gonna wear my hats more.
That's that Jersey swag that I like.
You know that. Well, I'm not from Jersey. Where am I from?
Jersey.
West Philadelphia. Born and raised. On the playground is where I spend most of my days. Come on now.
Chilling out, maxing.
Come on.
Relaxing and cooling.
Come on.
Shooting some b-ball outside the school. Okay, come on.
All right. Don't be calling me from Jersey. I'm not from Jersey.
Well,
So listen, man, we are here and we are back and got a lot to talk about, huh?
A lot to talk about.
I hear you went to a concert.
I did. I went to a concert with some dear friends of ours, Jimmy and Rachel Rogers, and you.
And
you were there.
I was there.
Yes, you were there.
Right? It was a double date. It was a late night. It was kind of impromptu late night date night, right? And the entertainment was
the Gospel Fest.
The Super Friends, Gospel Super Fest.
Yes.
Right? And we went. And
we saw, and boy, did we conquer.
Right? So this was a date. It's supposed to be a date night.
It was supposed to be a date night. Yeah.
But it didn't end up a date night.
It did not end up a date night.
How would you describe what would you do what would be your description of what it was?
It was a debacle.
A debacle.
Yes.
That's a big word.
Yes. It was a massive ball of confusion and wondering what the hell just happened.
Now, you talking about the show or are you talking about us?
I'm talking about the first show before the main show. Yes.
So, guys, look, we had major conflict on our date night.
Yes.
Like major
conflict.
Major.
We were in the car with Rachel and Jimmy and
having a good time.
Great time. Great conversation.
We got to the venue. It was at State Farm Arena, right? And we realized that we had some very good seats on the floor. Yep. And we were standing in line, folks. Yes. We were standing in line. And let the pigeons loose. We had a kerfuffle.
We had a kerfuffle.
Right? Do you want to explain no? Because I was really the one that initiated the kerfuffle.
You were the one who initiated.
I was the kerfuffle genesis.
Yes.
Right. So
Rachel and I started a conversation in the car.
Yes.
And when we got to the venue, when we got up to the ticket counter to hand the people our ticket,
we were waiting. We were waiting. Right.
Rachel started the conversation back up again.
Yeah.
So it was Shannon, me, Rachel, Jimmy.
Do that again so they have a good visual.
Shannon, I was behind Shannon. Rachel was beside me, and Jimmy was behind us.
Right. Okay, good.
Right.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Yes.
So as Rachel and I were minding our business, having a conversation.
Listen. Key word there is minding your own business.
Minding your own
business. Two grown
women
women having their own conversation. Go ahead.
So then Shannon says to Rachel, and it might not make sense to y'all because we're not going into the conversation.
Right.
But Shannon says, not to Rachel, to me, as I'm talking to Rachel.
Yes.
He turns around like this. just say you went to work at the event. Just what are you doing? Like, just say you worked. And I'm like, I'm looking.
That's not what you said.
So I had a mask on. So you all you can see is my eyes.
All you can see is your eyes, yes.
So I'm like, so I did like this.
Right. Do the face.
I did like that.
Right.
I'm looking like.
Right.
And so he's like, you were working. Just say what you're working. What you trying to hide? Tell the truth.
Just say what it was.
Just say what it was. And I'm like,
no. Say what you said.
Well, then he says, right. So when Shannon said his energy, first of all, he was loud.
I was loud.
And his energy was like, just say it was like that. So I'm like, look at my eyes are buck like this, like, nigga. Really?
Damn.
Like, for real.
Yes.
And so then he saw my energy. Right. So you said, oh, so you calmed down. And he said,
brought it down. Hey, I brought it down.
But y'all check.
I de-escalated.
He de-escalated. Then he said, oh, am I embarrassing you? I'm sorry. He turns back forward. And now me and Rachel looking like this to each other. And then he turns back around and was like, just tell the truth, though. You was what? Just tell the truth. And I'm like, oh, y'all.
Oh, my goodness.
Done. And this is giving it no justice. Serious. How the situation went. It was serious 911. Like a nigga about to get his head blown off. That's how I was feeling.
That's how she was feeling.
Straight up.
So now, this is what I do, right? Now, I'm not realizing the energy that I brought. Mm-hmm. I'm oblivious to any sort of negative energy that I might have introduced into this, into this situation. Right. I'm just like, hey, you know me, hey, let's just keep it real, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I got that energy from her, the damn and the face and the screw face, like literally, guys, if looks could kill, I would be dead. I would be dead. I would not be alive. I would be dead if looks could kill. Yep. Right? Yep. And so, right?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, right?
Yes,
right?
I would agree with that.
She would be, it would at least be manslaughter. It might not be murder because it wasn't premeditated. But
and
she
I
would
was
be in
hurt.
jail.
I wasn't even pissed. I was hurt. I was embarrassed.
Well, let's not get to that.
Okay. We not. Okay.
So what I did, I have one of two. And listen, guys, if you're watching this on any social media platform, just make my marriage is dope. We dope, right? Just share this right now. This because we're live. Make sure that you're sharing this with people, with couples, especially that really, or whomever, you could be single and you really want to learn how to manage conflict. And because we're all going to experience conflict. So my marriage is dope is live right now. It is our podcast. And so we're going to go on with the story, right? So I only have two switches. Mm-hmm. I'm either on or I'm off. Mm-hmm. There is no in between. Mm-hmm. And so I shut all the way down. Like no. I walked ahead of you guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I'm walking, listening.
Yeah.
Because I've been sick over the past however many years, I'm usually behind you when I'm walking, right? Mm-hmm. I'm walking ahead of you guys. I got a little pep in my step. I do not want to be I felt like this massive amount of what was that really necessary? Like all I did was in my mind, all I'm saying is let's be honest, let's be truthful, right? So we walk down to our seats. I sit down. I literally do not say a word. The concert started late, and by the time it started, and then now here's Shirley and Rachel. They step out. They go to the restroom. Mm-hmm. Now, but they're out. But if you know Shirley and Rachel, anytime Shirley is with her girls and they have an opportunity to talk and catch up, they're going to do that. They were out in the doggone out the bathroom area at least 45 minutes because the concert was late.
Yeah.
right? 35, let's say 35 minutes.
No, it was a minute.
So me and Jimmy are sitting there, and, two men that are, fairly introvert. Like, we don't really have a lot to talk about. And I really don't have anything to talk about because I'm pissed. So now I'm being a horrible host.
Horrible.
Absolute horrible host. Now, Jimmy Rogers, God bless his soul, love my baby brother. He was an absolute gentleman. He didn't tap me in like, yo, man, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you? Like, what's happening? He saw my energy and he was just enjoying the view and enjoying the people setting up and doing whatever.
Right.
They started the concert. You guys finally came back. I'm still screw-faced. I'm literally sitting. If any of you guys know me, I'm a worshiper. I'm a praiser. I'm not going to run up and down, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to clap my hands. I'm going to do my, my rock back and forth, depending on who it was. We had Fred. We had Yolanda. We had Marvin Sapp.
Ty Tribbett.
Like all of these, like just banging artists. And I'm sitting there in my seat like this.
Y'all, the concert was a 5-hour concert. This is no exaggeration.
5 hours.
That's when I knew. I was like, ooh, something wrong.
Look.
And this is the thing. I should be the one pissed. And he's sitting there like this the whole time. And I'm like, ooh, Fred here. I know Shannon going to get into this.
Listen, I used to work for Fred Hammond. I mean, he is one of my, pages of life and, all of his, going back to commission. I'm a Fred Hammond fan. So I'm going to get up, get down, get funky, get loose with Fred. Look.
Just like that.
Screw-faced. And
I'm sitting there like, Shirley, push through how you feel. Don't have an attitude. Don't waste this opportunity to enjoy the artist. I'm steady talking to myself.
And I'm getting more pissed
because I'm enjoying myself.
Because she's enjoying herself.
That's hilarious.
I'm getting angrier and angrier. And I'm like,
you see how you let the devil use
this chick over here. She just, yeah, you're praising the Lord. Yeah, you almost killed your husband, but now you're praising the Lord.
That's hilarious.
So listen, it literally was a 5-hour long concert.
No, literally.
This was the longest thing that I've ever experienced in my entire life. And the only time I moved was to reposition myself because I was uncomfortable or I had to get up and go to the restroom, right? And so it was finally time for us to leave. Got in the car.
Talk about tense. Crickets, y'all.
Absolute crickets. I'm not saying a word. Now, Jimmy and Rachel say a couple of things. There was a couple of things said, and I think even you said something, babe. Yeah. And I responded very to the point answer, very just succinct in my response.
And one time I was like, because I knew he was pissed at me, and I was like, well, babe, you know about such and such. What did you think? And you were so very... Oh, such as a very even keel. Answered the question.
Smooth operator. But hey, I'm like a duck on the surface of the water. I'm like this. Underneath, I'm like, and she don't shut up or and listen, I'm battling the whole time whether to bring something up.
Thank God it was Rachel and Jimmy who we have a very close, intimate relationship with.
We are accountability partners.
And we are accountability partners.
As couples, as we throw things off of each other. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Was I wrong here? Was I wrong there? Right. We have a community, right? And Rachel and Jimmy are a part of that community, right? So
I was wondering if you were going to bring anything up in the car. I was like,
I wanted to. Listen, guys, I was so pissed. I was about to catch an Uber because I drove, right? And I didn't want to be there. But I knew if I couldn't leave and have everyone else leave. Right. So that would have been rude. Then it would have been rude for me as they're our guests for me to leave. Right. So he
just sat there the 5 hours like this. Literally stone cold.
I was torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool.
Mercy.
Man, I wanted to leave. I was going to call an Uber. Then I was thinking about the amount of money that the Uber would cost. Nothing was working in my favor. So
then we get home.
We finally get home. Listen, it's so bad I don't eat. So we had breakfast and we were going to eat at the venue. And babe,
I asked you like 3 times.
You texted me, I was like, nope. I don't ever want Shirley to bring me food when we're like that. It would have been obligation. It wouldn't have been love. So here we are, right? And we finally we get home back in. I felt like we had regressed back to our dark days, and that look that you gave me had such disgust and contempt and all of these things. And Rachel was just asking questions and she really asked. One of the things she really asked was, do you know how your wife is feeling? Do you know how she was feeling? Like, do you know with her now?
Right.
Of course, I didn't care what was going on with you. I was like, no, I don't know what's going on with her. She's up in the room. Listen, it's all on you. She's up in the room, not caring about me, and not like it was just really this heavy, selfish spirit on me. And like, because my POV was, I didn't do anything wrong. In my mind, all I did was,
that is deep,
ask you, why wouldn't you just be honest? And then, I was like, I felt like she was being disingenuous and not authentic. And I thought she was being evasive. And she was like, well, here's Rachel asking all of the right kind of questions to help guide me in my thought process. And she didn't know, but she was talking me down. She was like, the more I typed, the more I realized, okay, something, what's going on, Shannon? That's when it was in that moment, it was hitting about 2:00, 2:15, that I was like, okay, what's going on with you? Okay, we know you haven't eaten. We know how you get when you haven't eaten, but that's not it. What is going on? And we were in a full-blown conflict, like a conflict like we hadn't experienced in a really, really like. Can you remember a time when we experienced that kind of conflict?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Right?
Yeah.
So then, now I'm realizing we're getting like 2:45, and I'm like, okay, I need to let them go.
And let me say, we have conflict,
I had to sneeze.
On this level is what he's talking about.
Right,
of course,
on this level.
We have conflict,
but on this level.
Right, this was,
Right. And so, and then I was like, well, let me let y'all go. Thank you. Let me let y'all go. All right. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for shedding some light. Thank you for shining some light. And then the last thing Rachel texted me was, go check on your wife. That's the last thing she texted me. Go check on your wife.
Right.
Now, at the state I'm in, even with me almost coming around, I'm like, nope, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that.
Mercy.
I'm not checking on her, and she can, I'm not checking on her.
Oh, wow.
So I sat on the couch longer, and I was like trying to figure out, should I get up and get the blanket, the blankets that we have in the basket?
Yeah.
And I had kind of settled in with the little pillows, and
oh, wow.
And then the whole time, man, I could just hear the Holy Spirit in my ear, like, get up,
mercy,
get up, get up, get up. And I was fighting. Do you hear what I'm telling you? I was fighting. Nope, I ain't getting up. I'm not getting up. I'm not. She gonna have to. And look, I was looking for a sign from you. Like when I say a sign from you, I mean, do I hear you? And there was one point you got up and went to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna come down, and you never came.
Oh God!
You never came down,
right?
And finally, I got the courage because I felt like I felt, and still at the time, I felt like I'm swallowing my pride and making the first move. Right? And so guys, hey, listen, I got myself together and I walked up the stairs, got me some water, walked up the stairs.
Wow.
And, you know, here, listen, coach, relationship, marriage guru, Shannon Austin, coach extraordinaire, right? I'm about to sit on the bed and I'm like, I'm bringing to bear all of the tools. You know, don't criticize her.
Right.
Don't talk about your feelings. Like, I'm going down the list, the things that we would say to another to our clients, right? And I sat down on the thing, and I shared with you what I shared with you, right? My feelings about whatever. Now you go.
Well, I mean, he apologized, right? So when he sat down, you apologized, and I asked you, what are you apologizing for? Because I felt like for you to feel the way you were feeling, clearly you were not aware of what you did. Right. And so you said, I don't know, like something like interrupting.
I said interrupting the conversation between you and Rachel. Right?
And I was like, no, that wasn't it.
No, that's not what you did. You was like,
what do you mean?
Right. It was like, hey, that's what you think I was mad at? I was like, yeah, that's what you think I'll pat myself on the back like I knew. I was like, yeah, I know what you was mad at.
No. So I was like, yeah, no, that's not what the problem was. The problem was that you came into a conversation not understanding what I was doing, right? So I'm like, why would I lie to Rachel? Rachel's a person who asks a lot of questions, right?
Needs clarity.
And she was asking about an event that I had attended. And I attended the event as a worker, was working with Jeremy Anderson, the Anderson Group. And this is my own issue, right? Really, honestly, kind of like imposter syndrome. Shannon and I have been blessed to be amongst certain circles and people and be able to hobnob and interact and things of that nature. And I do not like talking about those people. Right. And this is my thing, because I don't ever want anybody to think that I'm more than what I am. Because whatever opportunities I have, whatever gifts I have, it is only because of God.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So when Rachel asked the question about this event that had all the who's who at the event, I said to her, she was like, oh, you went? I said, yeah. And I don't even remember the question. I was like, oh, no, I didn't. I said, oh, no, I didn't pay. I said, that event was $700. I said, I wouldn't have paid for that event. Right. And so I never told Rachel that I was working at the event, but I was telling Shannon, I was like, I was pissed because you interjected, because if I wanted to puff myself up, I would have told Rachel I was with Jeremy and them, because I can be behind the scenes.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
If I'm at the event, anybody, you could pay for the event and you sitting out in the audience.
Now, it's a super duper event. This was InvestFest. So,
right.
You know, when she say the who's who, it was the who's who, and she was in the midst.
Right. So I'm like, if I was trying not to make myself like shine.
Right. Yes. You were decreasing.
So I was decreasing.
Yes.
So I was being very careful about what I was saying to Rachel. And so I didn't lie about anything. I was just didn't want to make it seem like I'm out here.
Yeah.
Right.
We got it.
So when Shannon did what he did, like, it was so embarrassing.
It was
because I'm like, in front of my friends, you did that.
Right.
I felt many things. I felt like you threw me under the bus.
I did.
I felt like you were calling me a liar in front of my friends, my friends.
I did do that.
And I'm like, wow, I felt like you just didn't have my back.
I didn't have it.
Right? You didn't ask questions.
I didn't ask any questions. I was none of that.
Right. So,
and I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing to be joke. Like, I'm like, the more I think about it and rehash it, I felt horrible after I came to the realization of what I did. Mm-hmm. But you're right about on all points. So go ahead.
And I told Shannon, I was like, honey, if you had just been like, hey, like, just like you were working the event.
Right.
I would have been like, well, yeah, I was working the event. Mm-hmm. I would have said just like that. I was like, well, yeah, I was working the event.
But my whole energy, which I was not aware of, like our son Khalif, he was with his friends, and one of the they said to him, "Yo, dude, like, why are you so loud?" And he was like, "Cause I'm from Philly." Right. So I don't know if it was the Philly in me. I was irritated. I was, I told you that. Like I felt like, why? Well, it's Rachel and Jimmy. Just say what it is. But of course, you had your reasons, right? And far be it from me to stomp on your reasons. And I should have been way more discreet.
Y'all, he was so loud. Like Jimmy was like, the people in the back was like folk turned their head loud. I saw them. I was like, Lord, it was so embarrassing.
Everybody was turning their head because I thought that the whole place stopped talking when you said, damn.
But I said it under my breath. I was like, nigga, damn.
No, it was not under your breath.
I did. I said it. That's exactly what I said.
That thing was both burst. Like this microphone was on it. And it was because remember, I wouldn't have, if you'd have been like just making a face like that.
I really was.
No, babe.
Ask Jimmy and Rachel.
I wouldn't have shut down like that. Not for that. I shut off when
you shut down because you said
your eyes too.
Right.
Ooh,
yeah.
Oh man, her eyes. Like I could see death in her eyes. I could see if I could kill you right now, I would, and get away with it. I would. I saw it all in her eyes, and it was hurtful. It was embarrassing. I felt embarrassed.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because in times past, this thing really would have lingered on.
Oh, it would. We wouldn't be doing no podcasts.
Yeah, we would not be.
And this was Saturday. This was Saturday night. In times past, we would not be able. We would not. Our ability to, and we bounced back the next day pretty much. Mm-hmm. It was a little quiet around the house, right. But we weren't it wasn't quiet. It was quiet because we were processing. We were giving each other space. Mm-hmm. We were allowing ourselves the opportunity to decompress. Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. And, just really come down from what, ended up being a very tumultuous, So we're talking about conflict and how to manage conflict, right? Because that was a major conflict for us. Mm-hmm. One of the first things I want to say, like points that I want to bring up, is, we wrote this book. We wrote this amazing, what we think is an amazing tool for couples, especially husbands, but it's for husbands and wives. Mm-hmm. And in here, there is a chapter, the first scene after the introduction, the first we called it scenes, trying to be creative. It's not deep at all. We called it scenes instead of chapters, right? And the first one was husbands and daddies. So each of the scenes is broken down like this. It's husbands and love. The first one is husbands and daddy's little girls, husbands and love, husbands and fear, husbands and respect, husbands and emotions, husbands and intimacy, husbands and affection, husbands and trust, and then there's an epilogue, right? There's a prologue, an epilogue, and then those, 7 things. And after this conflict that we experienced, I was drawn to husbands and daddy's little girl. which is what I call the setup, which is the thing before the first scene. And in it, I introduce a concept that, like, we don't have daughters. Now we have a daughter. We have a daughter that God has given us. She grown. She ain't a baby. Shout out to Ebony. We didn't have blood daughters. So I didn't grow up, from a baby. I didn't have daughters to nurture and what have you. But in the book, I just understood and highlighted the concept of how daddies want their girls to be treated, and that if you can understand conceptually that God is our father and he has daughters, you are his daughter, then I want to make sure that I'm treating his daughter in a way, no matter what conflict exists, I want to treat her in a way that he would be proud of. Like, I don't want to mistreat, simply because you're God's daughter. Right. And so in the book, we tried to get men to understand that you should treat your wife as precious. Your wife is as precious as your child, as your daughter. Right. How can you despise or disrespect the gift giver? You're the gift giver, and reverence the gift. That doesn't make any sense, right? And so we tried to get that point across. I hope we did it effectively in the book, to just get men to understand how precious, like our tone with women, like our body language, our technique, how I communicate with you, how, am I communicating love at all times, even if I'm disappointed, even if I'm hurt, even if I'm angry? Do I have the ability to communicate love to you? Because you're daddy's little girl, right? And I did a horrible job. If I was your father and I was aware of how I treated you, it would be some conversations and maybe some furniture move. Like, if nothing else, we're going to have a conversation. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk. And then at the end of that conversation, I'm going to say to you, me, which is me, I'm going to say to me, this is your daddy talking. I know that she could be wrong. I know that you thought that she was wrong. But don't you ever treat my daughter like that again. Right. Don't you ever put her in that position. Don't you ever abandon her. Y'all bed is a holy place. That's a place that should be special, and you should never abandon it because you're angry or mad. She shouldn't be able to kick you out of it, and you shouldn't choose to leave it simply because you all have had some conflict. And so just off the rip, conflict, we got to learn. One of the major things that we have to do before we get into some points, right? One of the major things we got to learn to do is to have a certain reverence for each other. That even when we're angry, we don't cuss at each other. We don't raise our voices at each other. We don't abandon each other emotionally. Now, back in the day, I was a big D word user. I was, well, why are we together? We get into conflict. Why do you want to be with me? We might as well get a divorce. Right. Shout out to you in this merch you got on. That's hot. I just want to let you know.
Thank you.
I'm seeing it in the camera, and I'm like, with your salt and pepper and your earrings, and it lets me know, like, your marriage is dope, man. Come on now, right? But there's just certain things that are resident or should be resident, right, in a marriage mission statement that say that are just pillars that we stand on.
Yes.
We do not put our hands on each other. We do not disrespect each other. We don't raise our voices. We talk in a normal, sometimes it can be intense, but a conversational tone, and we are constantly respectful of each other, right? And we don't ever utilize the D word as a tool for either manipulation or as a tool to express frustration.
No.
Because when I would bring up the divorce word, it wasn't that I was trying to make you feel a certain way. I was so frustrated, I was throwing my hands up like, well, forget it then.
Right.
And I wasn't saying forget it. I was using another F word. But I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to keep it, right? I don't know who's watching. I'm trying to keep it, right? So, but there are some real kind of fundamental things that we need to do when we are in conflict with each other. And one of those things is really having an open heart and mind to communication. What were you about to say?
No, I was going to allude to that. You know, when it comes to communication, period, everybody's trying to prove their point, right? And you know, we really are selfish human beings. That's why a healthy relationship, it takes intention, because if we act just from the flesh and our feelings, then this is what we get. We get the throwing around the D word. We get the being defensive, being angry, attacking, not listening. We get all of that. And it's like, you know, my thing now is like, what's your end goal? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want to happen? And if whatever it is that you want to happen is in alignment with that end goal, then continue doing that. But if not, you have to understand that just like you have a point, your spouse has a point, right? So I have to stop caring about just my point, and I have to care about how you see things. And let that be even just as much of a focus as my own point is a focus. And that's something that's a hard thing.
Co-focuses.
Yes, that's a hard thing for people to understand.
Because all we want to do is really focus on what our needs are, where we were coming from. And what would have been nice is for us to go aside, just to say, Jimmy and Rachel, excuse us just for a second. And me to just say, hey, what's that about? Right? I wasn't open to communication.
Right.
I closed myself off to communication. And I should have said, babe, we're here to have a good time. What was that look? Even if I thought I wasn't wrong, right? And then you could have had an opportunity to say, babe, you totally embarrassed me. Like I feel like you totally threw me under the bus. And I'd have been like, you feel like that? Like if I would have known then, like I went a whole night, anything could have happened. I could have slipped and fell. Something could have happened. Anything could have happened. And we would have had that energy between us that would have been completely unnecessary. So I mean, I just totally agree with, you know, just really taking the time to see that there was something going on with you as well, not just me. Go ahead,
no, and it's just so, you know, I just want people to change their mindset holistically, because we have this mindset that we have to be stern and we have to be hard. And the reality is when you look at you being like that.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
Hold your point. I don't think that people want to be hard. I don't think they want to be hard just to be hard. I think they are being hard to protect themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So when you're being like that, you have to ask yourself, Edith Frazier asked us, how's that working for you?
How's that working?
I'll never forget that. How is that
Shout out to the Fraziers.
For you? Shout out to the Fraziers. They're going live now, West End, right? How is that working for you? And if it is not working for you, why do we keep doing it? Why do we keep allowing our fears to take precedence over what we want the overall outcome to be? Why do we allow our fears to take precedence over our spouse's heart?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I mean, I think it goes down to some basic human laws, and preservation is important, and being understood, being heard, being, you know, all of these things come to the forefront of our mind, and we immediately put our dukes up. and we get into defense mode. And as soon as we see an opening, we are going to go for that opening, right? Not even caring how that our responses, our actions or reactions can affect our spouses, and have long-term effect. If we didn't really get into a process of de-escalation and conflict resolution, we could have really, caused some damage, because the human mind, our emotions and our feelings will betray us and have us going for, periods of time, having us mess up our the ministry that we have, all of these different things, right? So one of the things is really being able to be open to communication, and start speak in positive. Like we said it recently in a coaching session. Like, see the best.
Yes.
I know you didn't, no matter what your look was on your face, I know you don't want to see ill will happen to me. Right. So being able to see the best in you in that moment would have helped to diffuse and de-escalate, right? And just being, introducing conversation or being open to communication, like be gentle with it. Don't be like, what was you thinking about? What was you? Right. Just like, hey, babe, just what happened? Like introduce being open to communication, but introducing the communication in a soft way, a soft startup, right? Would bring about, the kind of results that would end with a good outcome, right? You agree with that?
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So then another thing, like, this is a mistake I made. I went to our past, even when I was texting Rachel, and she redirected me quick. She's like, Shane, this doesn't have anything to do with what you guys experienced in your, back in when y'all were in dark places. This is not that.
Yeah, definitely not that.
This is not that. And so get to the point, like stick to the point. The point was what happened this evening, right? Not rehashing the past, and because that's when you start getting into things like you always.
You never. And listen, the thing about the past is, and it's so crazy, right? Because it really is a two-sided of the coin. The past helps to determine patterns. However, when people are on a path of change and they're like, I want to change. I don't, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do this anymore. Or I don't want to be this person anymore, whatever the case may be. The only way to know if they have actually changed is to stop bringing up the past. And to stop living in the past, because all that does is cause more conflict. And so you actually thwart their growth process by continuing to bring up the past.
So I agree so much.
So you have to have enough courage to say, you know what? This situation, which you said for you went into the past, but this situation is just this situation.
It's only this situation.
That's it. And this is the thing. Even if it is connected to the past, this situation is still an isolated situation.
And based on the growth that we have experienced over, God knows how many years, right? Now, from that dark place, this was an isolated incident.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
This in no way was our norm. This is not how we interact. This is not, what we do.
So I guess the pain that you felt in the past, that's what came up for you. Yeah. And you were like,
that whole, I ain't going down this road again. I'm not going. But no, really, it was more about our present, because we teach a lot about contempt. Right? When we're coaching, we talk about the 4 horsemen, and one of the 4 horsemen is contempt.
Right.
And I saw contempt in your eyes, and it scared me half to death.
Oh, wow.
It scared me. Any of those responses are fear-based responses. And it scared me because I'm like, are we back here again? Like, are we back? Because we know, John Gottman from the Gottman Institute talks about when you see these 4 things present in a marriage, like the potential for divorce is there. Oh, yeah. And contempt is one of those things. And I saw it in your eyes. And I was like, I'll be damned. I will be damned.
If I have contempt.
If you have contempt for me.
That's funny.
Or I see the contempt or whatever. And you could have it in your heart. But to see it, oh man, it was horrible. So we want to be open to communication. We want to get to the point, right? We don't want to be harboring in the past, right? Then we got one of the major elements of resolving conflict is listening.
Listening. Mercy, Jesus.
If I didn't listen to what you had to say, if all I did when I came upstairs was determined to tell you what was on my mind and what I was thinking and what you did wrong and what, we wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
No.
You would have completely shut down, I believe. And so I didn't do that. I came soft. I was open to communicating. I just wanted to share my heart. And then after I did share that, I listened. And you asked me, you asked me a series of questions. And then after, based on my answers, I demonstrated that there was not clarity. Then you brought clarity. And I had to sit and I won't even use the term suck it up. Because that's a negative connotation. I sat and I listened to really hear your heart. This is me confessing. I listened to really hear your heart. I was not listening to come back or debate with you or clap back or to find some sort of weakness in your armor or kink in your... I really wanted to understand where I aired because I didn't think I aired.
Yeah, you really have to process, guys. You really have to process. Some of us, we're so, I'm a processor, right? So if Shannon says something, I have to just take a little bit of time to think about what he said, think about what it is that I want to say, what it is that I'm feeling, what it is I'm thinking. Some people, like Shannon, you're not a big processor. But those times when there's conflict, those people who can come back quick, you need to slow down. You need to relax and chill, and you need to process. It's that not processing. Because listen, we have a feeling. The feeling, we have a thought, a feeling, it conjures up a behavior, a reaction, an action. So if we do not slow down, whatever that thought and feeling is, it's going to come out.
It's going to come out.
So, when it comes to listening, it's not just listen and when they're done, now let me respond. It's really processing. It's
an active listening process.
It is an active listening, and you really do. When you're listening, listen, for me, how I have grown in my listening process is I do the self-talk. I remember who I'm dealing with, right? I think the best of Shannon. Even when we're going through it, I push myself. That's why at the concert, I was able to push myself through because I'm like, this ain't us. This is an isolated incident. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why he's pissed like this because I should be upset, but I'm going to let him have whatever he needs to have. And I'm going to work through where I'm at and not allow myself to join him in that energy. That's work. That is the work. Because listen.
And that's the work in the moment.
In the moment. Because if I had joined Shannon, that would have been horrible on another level. Right? And so this is the thing about work, you guys. On the front end, yes, it is not easy. But as you keep doing it, it becomes who you are. So now it's no longer work. It's just who you are. Sometimes you might trip. Sometimes you might fall. But it's way easier to get back up because of who you are. That's why on the front end, just do the work. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like,
yep. Do the work. And it, I can't stress anymore that this is an in the moment process. Like you have to be very intentional about not letting things grow and fester. Right? It's like let's nip this in the bud. Nip this in the bud now. And what we did, another point we did was we found a common ground. The common ground was we don't want to hurt each other like that. But the common ground is we also want to be respected by each other. And you felt disrespected, and I have no desire to disrespect you or have you feeling like you're disrespected. So that was our common ground. The base, our marriage was more important in that moment than whatever was going on with us individually. And even though it happened to you, still the way you dealt with it when you talked to me and you did bring it to me was in a very preservative type of way. You were very conscious of not bringing up the past, of not pointing the finger, but just really saying how you felt. You were like, I was embarrassed. I felt thrown under the bus. You used a whole lot of I statements to communicate to me, what was, exactly where you were. And all I could do was sit and listen and understand and then, comply. And then, after that, it's just all about making the attempt to like Sunday was a break. Like we kind of took a break from each other, not because we were mad or anything like that, but we just needed a little break from each other to bring down the heightened emotions, bring down the tension. And then we just we've grown. We
really, because when you just said how I did the I wasn't even thinking like it. That was like an aha moment right now in this moment. For me.
Okay.
Because I didn't even realize. I didn't realize it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it really has become. It really is who I am.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. That's crazy.
And
I love the fact that you said, "Honey, I'm sorry. I did not mean to make you. I did not mean to embarrass you. I wasn't trying to throw you under the bus." You know what I'm saying? It wasn't I didn't do that. Like, we give this energy. I didn't do that. I never do that. And it's like, I'm not understanding how you are perceiving what's being done, or you're not understanding how I've perceived what you're doing. That's what matters. If we could just keep the focus on what actually matters.
Yes, ma'am.
We would stay out of conflict on the level that many of us are on.
I agree.
Because conflict's going to be there, but it's simply how you handle it.
So what we did after we took our break, we really kind of took the time, like towards like Sunday evening into Monday, just reassuring each other. Like reinstituting, like touching each other, like we kind of was letting each other know, like, I'm good, I'm okay. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And we have busy weeks coming up, busy next month and a half coming up. Can we get on through this? And are we okay?
Right.
And so I give us a
Booyah!
A+ for conflict resolution and managing all of that, and it is so amazing for you to be my life witness. You get on my damn nerves sometimes. Let me finish. I get on your damn nerves sometimes. See, she just see, that's why you almost choked. Right. But we are determined to get it right and to help not be a perfect example.
No, not at all.
Right? I don't know if that's possible, but at least be an example.
Be an authentic example.
An authentic example
of a healthy marriage that has the ups and the downs, the conflicts, the challenges, all of that.
Listen, and the ups and downs are going to be there.
They are going to be there.
Right? They're going to be there. You can guarantee them.
It
is how you navigate them. And if you can develop the kind of skill set, listen, and then thank God for Rachel and Jimmy. Community is
Come on, Rogers. Community is everything.
Community is everything.
And they checked on us that Sunday and that Monday.
They
following up. How y'all doing? How's it going?
You know, so we, we are big. We call our community, we call the Marriage Inc. community the herd. And for those of you that are listening, you either need to get connected to the herd. If you're not already connected, you need to stay connected to the herd. There's strength in numbers.
There's strength in numbers.
And so there's strength in this number. And then outside other couples, there was strength. If I would have stayed isolated, things would have gotten worse and worse and worse. Right. But I connected myself back to one member of my herd, right? And then, I connected to two members of our herd, and then I connected to you, and we were able to navigate that space. The rough waters. Successfully. And so,
I want to say this about conflict, because we talk about how there's always going to be, some challenge in life. But I always say this: the challenges, the two types of challenges, the ones that you create and the ones that just happen. Right. So early on in our life, we were dealing with the challenges that we were creating. And that's what made our marriage hard. Right. Because we just refuse to be who we needed to be. I was focused on Shannon and Shannon was focused on Shirley. Now, the latter part, we are still dealing with challenges. But those challenges, most of those challenges, 99.9% of those challenges, it's life.
It's life.
It's life. Congestive heart failure. It's cancer. It's we were renting and the guy telling us he wants his home back. And so we were nomads for 4 months. That's just life. Right? So we encourage you guys to be so in tune to one another that you are not creating your own challenges. Any challenge you have is because it's life, and life is going to happen.
Life is definitely going to happen.
So why add to the challenges? That's just.
Yeah. So look, this, even though some folks are watching this live on Facebook and YouTube, it's not going to remain on Facebook. Right? So you need to go to Marriage Inc. TV on YouTube, Marriage Inc. TV. You need to subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when we are going live or you got a new piece of content that's coming to you. We're really going to try to get more marriage enrichment stuff to you and start to churn it out a little more. We want to make sure that you are following us on Instagram at Marriage Inc., on the Facebook page at Marriage Inc. Join the Facebook group at Marriage Inc. Life, Love, and Marriage. Some of you might be watching on there right now. Some of you might be watching on my personal page. Go to YouTube, make sure you subscribe, and we'll be getting you more information about marriage enrichment events, where you can get this. Come on now. Shout out. Come on now. And it's more. This is one of the new pieces in the My Marriage is Dope collection.
I love it.
And It's some fi coming. Some fi coming, right? So we just really want to be that a part of the spoke in the wheel of marriage enrichment. There's so many other amazing platforms out there, some amazing influencers and marriage coaches, marriage counselors. We are going to be redoing. We did an amazing interview with Dr. Dewan Tart and Tiart and his wonderful wife, Mecca. Mm-hmm. We had some technical difficulties there, so we're going to redo that episode. Mm-hmm. We're going to have some amazing guests. We're going to have friends. We're going to just have a good time on My Marriage is Dope podcast. So listen, I am one of your hosts, Shannon Austin.
And I am the other half, Shirley Austin.
And we thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Listen, let's win together. You can do it.
Together. Peace and blessings.
Let's go.